Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right, Mr. Ayer.
I'm here.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Here.
And Dr. Lewis is not here. Mr. Van Stone.
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
All right, a motion and a second to excuse Marcy.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. All right, we have a couple of presentations here tonight, very exciting. There's some very generous gifts. We're going to do MPF first. Please do. Please do. All right.
You want me to take your phone for you? Yeah, I can do it. Or I can send it to you.
Oh, my.
Oh, which way? Oh, I don't care.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Again, I want to thank MPF on behalf of the village. This is an incredibly generous gift.
Yes,
And,
thank
really
you.
does get us over the hump for the fireworks. Fireworks seem to go up every year instead of, shortening down the program, which nobody likes. You know what I mean? So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So generous.
And now pickleball.
Okay, now, well, I gotta talk. I mean, all right, so Stan.
Of course.
Stan and Ted. These are my committee members, two of my committee members. So we kicked off the campaign at the beginning of the year, and we're able to raise $106,000, $107.44. Yes.
Wow.
But we are just super excited to present this to the village, and we're excited to get some bids back. Chris is working on that so that we can start the pickleball courts later this year when the season's over. So thanks for the opportunity to be here and present this to you.
This is huge.
Make it snappy.
Yeah, balance. Good. Good.
I feel like, Randy, you should be in it. Isn't your name on it?
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Through the Legacy Foundation, yes, thank you. I'm gonna use the check
Bye.
right now. Thank you. I love the little logo on it too. All right,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
How long you guys? Of each? Okay, what's the guy's name? The blue shirt. Ted.
That's awesome.
All right, Chris, we'll talk.
Incredible.
All right.
Incredible.
I just think that's Kim, hold on one second. Oh, there she goes. I just think that's one of the greatest examples right there of residents, sort of picking up the ball, organizing a group, raising money, for something that, will benefit the village, and it makes it possible. The village, if we didn't have that kind of financial help and assistance, we really wouldn't be able to do pickleball courts. So this kind of activity by residents makes it happen. I can't commend them enough.
I think it's amazing, on top of the Centennial and the Family Statuary Project
Yeah.
and the pool project. When they started, I said, do we have donation fatigue? But apparently we do not, so
It could be
kudos
closing-
to
It
their
might be
effort.
closing in on us, but we didn't have it yet. All right. All right, any question regarding the minutes from the May 27th meeting? If not, a motion and a second to accept those minutes.
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. Ayer?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Oh, what, all right.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes. All right, in communications, we have Chuck Barlow's monthly report, tax office. guess, any questions regarding that? We call or contact him directly? All
I
good?
get,
Sure.
just from looking at it, I assume that means that in the 24 business taxes, that bump was a one-time thing we're not expected to see again.
Right, actually, in the letter
yeah,
that,
that was-
in the article that went into the town
Yeah.
crier, we called that out. It's actually gonna be about $500,000, it was a one-time, so, because that's just the first quarters, right? So there's gonna be some others that'll,
But I'm just saying, the big bump was in the.
correct, businesses, yes, you're exactly right.
So I'm
Businesses.
just saying, I think it's useful to just put that on,
Yeah, yeah, it's.
point that out, because that's one of the bigger takeaways from that report.
Right, right. Nice to have, but it's not.
Oh, yes.
Repeat, right. All right, under Fire Chief Copeland's report, kind of short this time. Any questions there, you can, of course, contact Dan. And we have some really good news here from, apparently there were some good articles in Cincinnati Enquirer about Mariemont schools being, the teachers being #1 in, the world. Well, close enough, kind of a thing. It was good reading, and I know my own association with them through Kiwanis, they are a great bunch of people, they're great teachers, a lot of good stuff happening there.
Yeah, I concur, having kids in the district currently.
Yeah. No. What grade was she going into?
Going in ninth grade?
Ninth grade,
Oh.
okay, all right. Yeah. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Mayor, I
yeah.
also noticed on the computer today, I don't know, any, you may have seen it, but they ranked the top 25 communities in Ohio to live in, and Mariemont was #2. Right behind Blue Ash. So I think that's where we were last year.
Sure,
But we beat out all of our neighbors by, some of our neighbors were on there in the top 25, some wasn't. But
Somewhere in there. And they attributed that to good governance?
there were
I think
several
mayor
things.
Good
specifically-
police force.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I
that-
just noticed that today. I
There was
don't know
a
if-
photo, a headshot of you in that article.
Hey, look, it's worth noting, isn't it? I mean, come on. All right. And then we have a spending request here from Mr. York regarding the drinking fountain that primarily, Randy, you want to give us a little update on the?
Yeah, so, interesting, if you go to the new Columbia Township building on Murray, they just put an LK in. Ours is a little bit different. It's Hunter Green, it has a filling station and then a pet station. So,
Yeah.
this is a $5,000 gift from the preschool parents group. And clearly, it's not optimal to do it now since we have a lot of construction coming. But given where it's going, Chris, I confirmed with Chris, it wouldn't be in the way. And plus, their membership who raised the money, because the membership is pretty fluid in that. 'cause it
Turns
can go
over,
up.
right.
So they wanted to do it now, so.
Sure, sure. And I believe Ben is going to oversee or
Yep.
do the
yep.
install?
I checked with Ben, and Ben can install it,
Oh.
and I think it takes about 2 weeks to get it,
Uh-huh.
so.
Yeah, okay, okay,
And it'll be the Hunter Green, the dark green,
yeah. Those are close to the Mariemont colors.
very close.
Where's it gonna go in?
It's where the one is right now, near the Clarence Erickson shelter, that one.
Got it.
There's already a concrete pad there. correct?
There's a pad there, there's water run there.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to decide, because that water fountain that's there is salvageable.
Mhm, sure.
Is, do we add it to a different location? Do we
Maybe.
replace one out, or what do we do?
Yeah, maybe. All right, then a motion and a second to approve the spending request.
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. All right, permission to address council, anybody want to? No? All right. Quiet. All right, then, any question regarding the bills?
I had a couple questions.
Sure.
So we had some, and I did not bring my glasses, but it was for Ps for construction drawings.
That was probably we're in this sort of weird thing where essentially that was a pass-through. That money is being reimbursed by the grant.
That's part of the Hamilton
And
County, yep.
It is, and what we're trying to do is, from here forward, the billing will be direct, not coming through us, or at least that's what we're shooting to do.
Okay, and
This
then,
is one of the first things to be reimbursed,
yep,
that's
yep,
all.
yep, that's great. And then McCarran Martin, I think he, as far as the concourse, he
Yes.
just did some repairs and then the benches.
He did all of the benches and the one column on the east side that had to be put back.
So do you anticipate him doing the rest of it?
Yes, but I think, obviously, we need to meet with him over there and go over just how extensive that would be and what he would be doing, and obviously get an estimate on it, yeah.
I will tell you, the work he did
Oh,
was
the benches
outstanding.
look fantastic.
They look great.
Yeah, the benches look
And they're
really, really
secure.
good.
I don't think water's gonna leak in there and
Exactly.
damage them any further.
Right, that was good, yeah.
And then my last question is on the street lights. We did buy the LED lights, so we'll be putting those in.
We passed that purchase order early in February. And he bought the lamps, and I said, "Go ahead and." And I know Ben isn't here, but they were supposed to look at the pendant lamps on Mariemont Avenue and make sure the globes worked. And I believe that was done last week, but I have not yet heard back.
Yeah, because there's some on West and there's some back on the bluff. I think there's maybe 12 of the ones that. Okay, so Mike's gonna help with that? Is that the plan from maintenance?
Yeah, that's the plan. In fact, they've been replacing some of the Cobra lights right out here at the square that were out, and one on Worcester at the east entrance to the village, one or two other ones or something. And, Mike is out there doing it by himself. I mean, I'm a little worried about that, but he runs the bucket truck all the way up, and he's able to reach it. And, so,
Because I will tell, if you've seen the new ones, they really look nice.
yeah.
They really do.
So Bob, once these are installed, the project will be done?
Yeah, I mean, we funded it, we upped it, if you'll recall, in the permanent improvement budget
Yep.
to get it finished. And I'll need to keep checking back with Bill, not this Bill, to make sure everything's on budget. But I don't have any indication from him there's any extra cost.
Great, that'll be great to have that finished.
All right, any other questions regarding the bills? A lot of bills this time. If not, a motion.
Pool bills.
Yeah, a lot of pool bills.
That's
Little
good, though.
startup costs.
They're on budget.
All right, then a motion is second to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Ayer,
All right,
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight,
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone,
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, let's pay some bills. We don't have any committee reports this time. Just as sort of a quick update here, we were gonna have Marcy's report regarding the CRA. But we ran into one or two little snags in the wording, and we needed Rod to basically define the boundaries and so on and so forth. So we will definitely have that 2 weeks from now, next council. We'll get that, all in place. And then also, while I'm talking about that, I did talk with the Realtor down that is running the Haney Building down there, and they are very, very close to inking the deal. I think they're basically doing due diligence now, so he anticipates that it's definitely going to be going through. And he wasn't entirely comfortable with telling me everything about the company that was gonna be coming in there, but it's gonna be some type of an engineering firm. I'm assuming it'll be light, it'll be some engineering design work and then possibly some light assembly maybe. I don't know that for sure. I mean, I'll provide more information as it comes in. But it sounds like somebody is moving in, and that's good news. Yeah, that's good news. And I also, for those of you who have been down there, I said, hey, look, man, is there anything you can do about that grass? Please cut that grass down there. And if anybody been down by that, it's over 2 feet. The whole thing, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, very tall. So anyway, but they're on that. But I'm just mentioning this because I think it's good news. All right, so guess then moving on to miscellaneous, the village offices will be closed in observation of Juneteenth, June the 19th, coming up here. The budget hearing, I guess that's next, that's before next council. And we will do like we've done before, basically we'll go right into regular session at the end of that. I don't know how long that's gonna take, really. It shouldn't take that long.
Well, it would be helpful, I don't know Kelly's in here, but, if we can get this stuff a
Yeah.
couple days in advance,
Exactly.
a little more than 24 hours would be good, so we
Yeah.
can have a chance to
All
get
right.
through it in
Okay, 30 hours maybe.
48.
Me too.
We'll have it. And then the fireworks display, of course, we're going to hold that at dusk like we normally do on July the 4th, 2025. And of course, we're hoping, we're sort of assuming there may be some work that has been going on around the bell tower, that taking down some of the fencing and so on and so forth. But obviously, the plan would be to still have the normal setup, not to have an interference with the fireworks, correct?
Well, baseball goes through the 24th.
Okay.
So, that's given. So can they start in the back and do some things that will not disrupt? I don't know if I'm comfortable with them even taking down the fencing, because there could be holes, there could be concrete, whatever. And
Yeah.
I know that they put the tape up so that you don't go, but
Right.
I think if they start in the back,
Yeah, it should be good.
So they're starting when?
I haven't confirmed that yet.
Okay.
Certainly after the 24th.
Yeah, okay, great.
All right, then village offices, of course, will be closed Friday, July the 4th for Independence Day. And Susan, this is, of course, we really need to be discussing the posting boards. We need to revisit the ordinances regarding posting boards. We have a couple of Eagle Scouts that is their project, and they are looking for, they have a new location for one, and believe it or not, it's a little bit more, I thought maybe it would just be mayor's discretion, and I
Yeah.
could just say, yes, you can put it, but apparently
no.
not. Joni looked it up, and we've got sort of a convoluted ordinance regarding the placement of these things and how many that we can have, so on and so forth. So I think what we need to do, I'll get more information together on this, but we need to you need to hold a quick meeting on this and sort of,
Yes,
No.
sir. What is the timing?
well,
By quick, is it
yesterday
yesterday quick
I don't,
or?
he's
So
working on
they
it
want-
now.
They want to add one
Yeah.
to Dogwood Park.
Okay,
So we have 5 now, that would make 6, and it's at the bottom of all of our,
Okay, yeah.
of our legislation. And then there was discussion, do we need all of them? Because it is, your crew has to go out and put them up. There's one right out here, and we have the stuff right, so is that necessary? So,
I think one at Dogwood Park, people will actually notice that and read it, but I think there's some of the locations, I doubt that anybody ever even,
so what is
Looked
the
at 'em.
timing for amending the proper legislation so that can?
Well, we want to get it underway, because if we have to have a
Okay.
couple of readings on this and so on and so
Understood.
forth, we don't want
So
to
next
do it.
meeting, ideally, you're saying, ideally next meeting.
I don't know when he's gonna get them done. He's gonna make a couple of them, he's gonna have a template.
Yeah.
And Susan, if we don't get it done, he could have a little ceremony over there, say it's gonna go here, where we don't even
Okay.
put it up, so.
So maybe something next week.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay,
That's more than.
Because this is an ordinance, right, Joni? It's actually
It
an
was-
ordinance. we have.
It was originally a resolution, and then an ordinance was passed to add the group distribution list.
I will get with Matt tonight and then try to confirm with Marcy
Okay.
for next week.
I think part of the discussion, though, should be, and I know Randy probably not going to agree with me on this one, how many of these things do we really need? Do we need to maintain the current number, or should we just,
So
cut it in
there's
half?
going to be some tension on moving quickly and then also a bigger conversation about how many.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
I will just call you before the meeting to
Yeah.
make, and you're gonna be
I'll be there
typically at the
anyway.
meeting
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So we'll have to kind of think through that. If there's a bigger issue at hand that
Mhm.
will take a little more time, then we're gonna have to take that time and,
Sure.
but then also, it sounds like make adjustments for Dogwood.
So Ed, it seems like, I think Ohio Revised Code actually dictates how some of this stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
So finding out what Ohio Revised Code requires at a minimum would help to figure talking
Yeah.
about. before you-
Well, and how much flexibility we have,
Right.
you know, to actually determine, you know.
So-
That- Again, that's right.
Ohio
Right.
revised code governs posted boards. Yeah.
Say it again.
Ohio revised
It's-
code governs posted boards. So okay, just a point of clarification, which we can do potentially not in this meeting. Do I need to ensure that the Rules and Law Committee meeting gets what we need to get done, which is to allow, to revise our ordinance to allow for Dogwood Park? Do I need to reach out to Ed prior to that meeting?
Well, it's not just to allow for Dogwood Park, it's basically that, what is the procedure and process for determining where, you know, a posting board would go? You know, in
And
this case,
I will check out the code, the
Okay,
ORC
and
code,
then-
so you can
thank
just
you.
focus on the location, I think.
yeah. But then also, like I said, how many do we really need?
Say it again.
How many do we actually need?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
While we're sorting this out, couldn't we just go ahead and put the new posting board over at Dogwood Park, even if it's not in our ordinance?
Well, I mean, I think what,
I
that's
thought
partially what
Randy
Randy
said
was
was a
saying.
Yeah.
good idea that
Yeah.
we, well, you can
Yeah, he was talking
place
about
it
a
there,
s-
but not sink into the ground.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is, why don't, we could just add the posting board, it's not in our ordinance yet, but there it is. And then while we're sorting this out, I don't think there's anything that prohibits us from having an extra one.
Oh, and maybe we just put it up and we don't post things in.
Right.
Joni, is there one that prohibits us from having
I
something?
believe that it states that we have 5. So if we're going to follow our ordinance, then I think we should
But
do what it says.
you may not have more than 5 once we have this discussion. because-
Well, I think we need to find out from Ed, does it dictate how many we need?
Yeah, yeah.
And if it doesn't, then collectively, we can have a discussion, do we need 5? Will 4 suffice?
Especially with the electronic,
Yeah.
Well, that'll be
Stuff
part
out
of the
there.
discussion. For
Okay.
sure, it
Sorry.
can't be simple, it's gotta be complicated. You know, it's just a posting board. Gotta have it.
Sounds like next step is for Ed to do the research.
Yeah,
and
a
find
little
out.
research, yeah, a little
Because I agree with
background.
Bob, I thought there was some other modifications now with the electronic stuff that was, you
Mm-hmm.
may
I'm
not have
sure
as
there
much
probably is,
physical
yeah.
as you did
I'll check it
before.
out.
No, yeah. All right. And maybe should we stick it up over Dogwood Park until we know what construction we're gonna do? Because where do you wanna?
I will tell you, I've not even spoken to them
Yeah.
about my guess is it'll likely go over near the shelter anyway.
Yeah.
Which is not really being touched.
Okay. Okay. Well, it looks like we're down to, we have 2 resolutions here.
Okay. This
Third
is-
reading on one coming up.
All right, this is the third reading, renewal of 3.0 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for capital improvements for the tax years of 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2030.
All right, that's the third reading. A motion and a second to accept.
So
Nope. Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
No.
No? Okay. There's an anti-tax guy right there. Love it. All right,
Okay, this is a first reading.
Are we allowed to ask why?
no, not really. I don't.
No.
I mean,
Fair enough, that's
Yeah.
why I asked.
Well, in my view, we have not vetted this properly.
All right, well, the vote's been taken, so that's,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. This is a first reading, supplemental appropriations, and to declare emergency.
all right. We've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and the third reading, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, may we have the second and third reading?
Supplemental appropriations and to declare emergency.
Okay, that's the second reading. Is there any thoughts or discussion? No? Third reading, please.
Supplemental appropriations and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to accept or adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. That's done. All right, we have the third reading of the one ordinance there?
To amend ordinance 0825 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances to increase payment for employees.
Okay, that's the third reading, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved?
Second.
Mr. Gare? Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. All right, we're just about got a record here.
Can I, hey, Chris, where are we on the pickleball courts? We sort of joked about that earlier. Do you know where?
So I wrote 2 solicitations, one for the expansion to basically build the courts. The second was to repair the cracks on 5 and 6 and 7, and then add the changing of the color coding. One contractor had a question or two, that was it. Both dates passed without any bids being submitted. So that tells me either bad timing, industry's busy, or the pickleball craze has really gotten everybody else and we're late to the game. So, talking to Kim and Linda, they got an original quote from Pruce Construction, so I contacted that person, said, hey, can you update your quote for right now? Let me know what it is. We'll see if we can use that to move forward. And then I think Linda was gonna reach out to other color coders, or, the color people, however they do that, and see if, I said, I can reach out with the quote that you gave me and ask for an update, or if you wanna do that, but she was gonna do that.
Okay.
So when I get those 2 pieces of information, we can have a meeting and see with these results, do we just go ahead with the quotes that I can get
Yeah.
and build the project?
It's
Or-
amazing, and nobody, wow, so.
I was very surprised. We had, I think, a list of 8 or 9 contractors for both of them. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that we didn't have any names, it's
Yeah.
just they didn't supply any numbers.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
No.
yeah, disappointing.
Well, it's sweeping the nation. Everybody wants a pickleball court.
Hey, Chris, while you're up there,
Yeah.
I know that on the Dogwood Park project, that if we're gonna have this, actually plant grass in September to be playing ball again in late spring, it's go time now, and you have the ad already. We've ordered the ad, and that's gonna be in the and this is for the solicitation for the field and earthworks and backstops and stuff, right? And so that will actually, you're on track to have that ready as far as when the ad comes out?
It's in the paper today.
Uh-huh.
The bid advertisement went out to 18 contractors this morning. And then the second reading, sorry, it's, the second solicitation will be June 22nd. We'll collect bids June 30th.
Awesome.
So, right now, they're looking at a very edited set of plans, a bunch of red lines, X's, and stuff like that. And then on the 16th, I'll get the revised copy from Kleinger's to have an addendum to say this is what we're gonna do.
And are they making I guess it's 3 drawings and a book specs? Is that what they ended up deciding they're doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like any other street rehabilitation contract where there's a book of specs and then a set of plans to show you what you're doing.
Okay, but they're splitting it to where here's the field, earthworks, backstops, here's the trail, and here's the tot lot. That's what, and we're getting all that done for the.
So the question goes to price, right? So we'll see how
Right.
much it takes just to get to the irrigation and the field work. And then what's left will go to doing the sidewalk or the loop trail. And then if there's any left, that'll go to the tot lot. That might be an additional, I don't know, we haven't
Okay,
talked
so
about the
they're
tot
doing
lot
it
yet.
like T&M for now, is that what?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, well, that answers my questions, except for one, and that is with us being ready to go now and start demo as early as maybe late June or possibly right after the fireworks, we have to be notifying these different organizations that we're closing the field. And Randy had a list of them, and I think it would be good the sooner we do that. And is that something, Bill, that you're ready to go ahead and?
Well, I just got the list today, and in
Yeah.
fact, Rod and I were having a discussion, actually before the list came in, as to exactly how that was gonna be handled, but yeah, we need to be putting together some kind of an idea how we're gonna be doing that.
Well, we owe it to these groups to communicate as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's tell MP it.
Because
up
you
right
got,
now.
you got Taste of Mariemont, you got the 1 and 5. I spoke to Nancy today. They cannot cross Wooster Pike, they're not allowed to. So she talked about the possibility of doing that at the concourse. You got Police Night Out, and we had not spoken about that, because the goal is to get this grass seed, hydro seed planted early September. Perfect time to plant it, but you gotta stay off of it. If we stay off it and they treat it, we can be ready to play, to use those fields in the spring. So, you know, and we have to communicate with Thomas J. Emmer Memorial. Apparently, there's no men's softball league, so we don't need to worry about that. We do have, I think, 4 people have rented the clearance areas and shelter, so I don't know. If you look at what's going on, we could put a fence to the left of the bell tower and keep all of that open.
And you can
throughout
still
of
get all the
this.
way back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could keep all of that open,
Right.
so we could keep the bathroom open and the tot lot, and certainly access to Carolyn and the use of that. But we simply need to communicate to those people, yeah, you can use it, but our fields will be out of commission. So I would suggest that we dictate a letter, send it out in an email, and then send a letter. I've got a list of Biff and you know, all those stakeholders that
Exactly,
use the
right.
field.
Right, yeah.
So who's taking the lead? Are you approving it? and then
If
we
it's,
send
if
it?
it's, I'll send it out if it's.
Well, I mean,
agreed
I
with
think Bill
everybody.
wants to review it.
Well, like I said,
right?
I just got the list today, in fact, and we
Well,
were having, already
in
having
all due
a
respect,
discussion.
Bill, I sent you that same list 2 weeks ago,
The same list?
same list.
You keep telling me, you,
I will
all
forward it
right,
to
all
you
right,
again.
okay, yeah, get all out of shape.
Well, can we just,
Actually, it was not the same list. I added the Thomas Amber Memorial.
Yeah, we'll see right there, the different list. Yeah, I can't be responsible. The point is, yes, we have to get this out.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I'm just trying to clarify. So what are the next steps? So once you give the okay, he can go.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
got it. So ball's in your court.
Well, I don't see any, I'm giving you the okay right here and now.
Done.
Yeah,
everybody good with that? Show of
So
hands or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah.
show of hands.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, go.
So my other request is, and I don't need to say this because I'm sure everyone here feels the same way I do. We'll do everything this body can and the village can on their power to help MPF with their event and 1 and 5 and all those other ones. So.
Yeah, if other
it-
arrangements
it
have
may-
to be
It may
made.
mean portalets, it may mean, you know, some extra maintenance activities in the park or whatever. So, because the footprint is obviously much smaller at the concourse, but yeah, Nancy's looking into it. She only has to make some minor adjustments to the route, which she'll work with you on. So she wasn't happy, but it's an option. And
We'll just make
Biff
it
and I
work.
haven't talked much about
Yeah.
what happens if, it used to be at the concourse, so, for a couple of years.
But then you need to put all the plywood down and all that stuff to meet all the health
It
stuff.
adds some complications, yes, it does.
But it was there before. Yeah, so it's not like it's a new thing. Yeah, yeah.
So really, if we will not disrupt the fireworks. Well, you know, that's not gonna happen. So if we can get some work done before the fireworks, you know, my goal is if we hit the ground running, yeah, at least by August 1st, when I spoke to Team All Sports, they said they could get it done in a month. If that's the case, and we
If they
hydro
get
seed,
if they get the contract.
if they get the contract. So, if we could get the hydro seed by the first, second week of September, that's perfect timing.
All right.
Quick question for you. So the lights on the island, have we got timers on those? The ones, you know, by the, that show up on the trees?
You haven't noticed that yet?
Just asking.
Yes, we have timers on the lights.
Excellent.
Yes, yes.
Good to hear.
They're on at, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night or something like that, off at 6, something. We can adjust it, you know, as the sun
Excellent.
moves, yeah, yeah.
When are we gonna have the public meeting on the closing of the streets at Cambridge and Rowan Hill and then Short Murray?
Where's that behind the agenda?
That's his committee, so.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot is hanging on
The next
grant.
step is to, and I plan to have this done very soon, over the next week or two. Next step is to compile everybody's comments that we received and post it. And then the traffic counts, just all the data that we have from choice one, post it, and then look at when we might want to have a public meeting. But part of the catch is that there's no funding to do anything anytime soon unless we were to be awarded this ODOT grant. So that leaves a question, is it worthwhile to have a public meeting if right now we don't have any funding to do anything?
Well, I guess the question I have is, what would it cost to just close those intersections? And then if we do or don't get the ODOT, we don't want to wait on, at least the residents I've heard up there don't want to wait on that. They'd like it done ASAP. And that all depends on the public meeting, so I don't want to get ahead of that, but.
Well, I think we could, if that being the case, that's something that we could consider. It would still be to permanently make a change like that. I can work with Chris to see what that would be, kind of looking at what the options that might come out of the public meeting. I know Chris is buried right now. I'm not going to even bug him for a couple weeks, but and then talk in committee about how this would be potentially be funded, like if we get the grant and if we don't get the grant.
I
So
think, well, and I do think there are residents that do want to give their feedback and their.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that, positive and negative, so.
correct,
I
very
agree.
much so.
I totally
Yeah,
agree.
so I want to be cautious that it looks like a prescribed solution.
Maybe
you
we
know,
have the public
result.
meeting before we ask Chris to waste time
Yeah,
on,
out of deference for the,
Yeah.
30 days, how did it work, what did the data say, what are the residents saying, and go from there.
because you could tell at the public meeting if, depending how it goes, we will still be waiting, work with the village engineer.
Well, I think given everybody's comments here, I think it would make sense if we have a safety meeting soon and deliberate on how we're gonna run the public
Okay.
meeting.
That's fine.
But we have not appropriated any money for this, if we do not. And Matt, I forget, what's the timing on knowing about that grant award?
Any time now.
It's a rolling.
one-time, it's a rolling application, but it's a one-time.
I was told September.
Oh, now it's
We,
September.
so we would know something. Now, you're right, originally was gonna be, what, June?
Yeah.
And then July, and so last I heard it's now September. So I think the state is a little overwhelmed with the feedback they got from all the grants. So I'm hoping by September we'll know something, either top half, bottom half, you know.
Tell her to just cut it off right now.
Stop looking.
All right, all right. Anything else?
Go.
Adjourned.